Hello there, my fellow holotable heroes, and welcome. No, sorry, I can't do this today. Oh wow. Yeah, not sure you've seen it, but we've just been hit with the State of the Galaxy last night, and boy, it was a big one. A lot of changes in this one. I slept on it. Put my thoughts around it, and in this video, I just want to cover all the things that were announced in that State of the Galaxy and just give you some my thoughts around it. So obviously there's quite a lot, so it might be a long video. I'll just create YouTube chapters. If there are only specific points you're interested in, you can just skip through using YouTube chapters below as always. So I'll cover about they have a new format of presenting these. Then there was a new ship announced, new Maul coming, Relic 9 is coming, Lord Vader is coming. So it's a lot of cool, new, exciting announcements, as well as new announcements for Conquest 7. There'll be a new Speed Grand Arena where community will face off versus developers. And then, of course, there was all the slightly controversial character changes, both to the ones that can ignore defense and as well some that can apply certain things to Galactic Legends. They'll also get exclusions, their abilities, same as they do have for raid bosses. So there is a lot to cover in. So let's just get started. First things first, I absolutely love the new format here of the road ahead. They posted a cool YouTube video there where they talk through and explain why, not as well what are the changes, the new things coming, but why they've done it, how they're tackling it, and just some reasoning behind it. I think you can explain that a lot better in a video and make it more fun and engaging rather than just as they've done it before, like in a blog post format. There was as well, also in addition to the video, they did post here on their forums all the announcement here as well. So for those that you don't watch video, you just want to read through, you can do that as well. But when I just first read this through without watching the video, some of these announcements here just didn't make quite sense what they mean. So I suggest that you fully understand what's happening, watch the video, and after you've seen the video, go ahead and read this through, and then you will have a better idea exactly what's coming. They did ask us for feedback. What do we think about this new format of the State of the Galaxy? I absolutely love it. I always love watching videos instead of just reading. So CG, well done there. Keep more videos like this. Keep them coming. I think they really help with the engagement with the community. Now let's move on to our second point, which is a new ship, the Executor. This will be a fleet commander ship, and it will be piloted by Admiral Piet. Now, if you look at the requirements for the event, it seems like it's going to be kind of a journey guide sort of character, where it's a ship but an equivalent to a journey guide. So there will be a specific relic levels that we will have to achieve to unlock this event, similar like maybe we had for Jedi Knight Luke. That was a journey guide character, not a Galactic Legend, but still we had to meet certain minimum relic requirements. Now this is probably, again, slightly controversial decision, because in the past for ships we only had star requirements for the ships, as you have seen down here, but we didn't really have specific relic requirements for characters. Now probably you can look at it as two ways. As probably somebody that's earlier in the game, that's not close to having all these characters reliced. This is probably a bummer, because they won't be able to unlock this new ship probably for another year or two, or even more, depends where you are in the game. However, obviously for long-time players, where anyway in our fleet arena all the pilots are reliced anyways, probably you will need all of these pilots reliced anyway in order to be able to be competitive in arena. So you would have to eventually relic these guys anyways. Now they didn't release a whole lot information about the Executor, but only that it will be even though it will be an Empire ship, it will be specifically designed to work well with the bounty hunter factions. So we'll have some there as well synergy with the breach mechanics that all bounty hunters already have. So it looks like it will elevate the bounty hunter fleet, to be a very competitive fleet. Not sure will it be total hard counter to Negotiator. Will Negotiator still be able to beat it or not? We don't know that yet, but looking at the requirements, this is almost like a Galactic Legends sort of ship that we have here, so it better be good for what we have to put in to get it. They just mentioned that the ultimate will blow you away from the Executor. So maybe there'll be some big explosions. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see for that one. Now in terms of requirements themselves, Vader Relic 7. Vader is a great character. Well, for now at least. More about it later. Again, Piet, he will be the fleet commander for this ship. So having him at Relic 8 is steep. But remember, relics do affect speed of ships significantly. So maybe if you wouldn't have a maxed out Piet here, the ship actually wouldn't be fast enough to maybe go before Negotiator or have certain turn order to make this effective anyway. So maybe there's a reason why these requirements are so high. Boba at Relic 8. Now Boba is a decent bounty hunter, so having him Relic is not, you know, that bad. But Relic 8, wow. But then again, if you do bring Boba's ship there from reinforcement, it will have a taunt, right? So maybe if it's not Relic 8, very high Relic Boba, then when you're taunting, you know, Negotiator will just blow through him very quickly. So maybe, again, for this to be effective, you will need Boba at high Relics. TIE Fighter pilot again at Relic. Well, TIE Fighter character himself not that useful. I do have him actually at Relic 6. Because then he will go before even a Relic 8-5, so you can get 4 set up. So having a Relic TIE Fighter, actually, I'm a big fan of his ship. It's very good. Bosk again, having Relic, you need Houndstooth to be tanky, obviously. Then IG-88 at Relic 5. Now, if you don't know, a Relic 8 IG-88 will actually be faster than Negotiator and Jedi Knight Anakin at Relic 8, which obviously can help you get out an early breach before they get to go. So again, having Relic IG-88 I think will be crucial for this fleet anyways. So the only requirement that's a bit odd from here, I would say, it's Dengar. Now he's a bounty hunter, but he does not have a ship. So why is he a requirement? Are we getting a ship for Dengar? I had a look at the Wikipedia, and apparently Dengar had a ship called the Punching One, and it looked similar like this. So maybe there's a Dengar ship coming as well. I'm not sure, they didn't mention anything. I think it would be pretty cool just to get another bounty hunter ship as well. But maybe these are just kind of the ships, if Dengar does get a ship, that they're saying you will need these guys for the Executor to reach its maximum potential. So from that point of view, having them, all these guys at high Relic will be necessary anyways. Now in terms of the actual ship requirements you will have to use in this event, obviously you will need 7 stars to complete the event. So we got Razor Crest, and we got Boba ship, IG, Houndstooth, TIE Advance, TIE Bomber, Imperial TIE Fighter. Now some of these ships are easier to get than others, so it just depends on where you at in the game. But in most likelihood, by the time you do get these guys Relic top, you probably would have these ships already at 7 stars anyway. So the only here total crunch will be all these high relics there, especially for Piet and Boba. Relic 8 are still very, very hard to get if you're a free-to-player such as myself. So we'll see what we're gonna do there. Anyway, Executor covered. On to our next point here. They announced a new character, Maul. Now this actually came as no surprise to probably a lot of us, because as soon as they announced Commander Ahsoka Tano as the reward for the Conquest, we were pretty sure we're getting new Maul, because kind of Maul is equivalent kind of to Commander Ahsoka Tano, but for the dark side, especially when they announced her kit. Obviously, you know, she's got a lot of unaligned force user for the light side synergies as well, so I was pretty sure they will release Maul for us, and that will again do the same thing as Commander Ahsoka Tano did for the light side, that he will do it on the dark side. So he will just help, you know, lift up some of those dark side teams to maybe next level. He will be designed to work very well with the new Galactic Legend Lord Vader. That will be the next point we'll talk about actually, so a little bit of spoiler there. So he will work very well with Lord Vader, same way as Commander Ahsoka Tano works very well with Jedi Master Kenobi. One interesting thing is that he will be a Mandalorian, even though obviously he's not Mandalorian by creed initially. There was a period where he was the ruler of the Mandalore, so probably just they will tap into that era. So he will also have some synergies there with Mandalorians. Nothing has been revealed too much about his kid. He'll have some new debuffs and buffs abilities, and as well because of his hard hatred for Kenobi, he will have some special bonuses when fighting any type of Kenobi. So definitely, it looks like that Lord Vader and Maul are shaping up to be hard counter to Jedi Master Kenobi. So definitely very excited there for new Maul. He will be as a Conquest reward, same as Commander Ahsoka Tano. So if you do max out Conquest, you will be able to get him to 7 stars within 3 conquests, same as we did Commander Ahsoka Tano. Will we still be able to max out Conquest? We shall see. More about it later, but for now, definitely very excited for new Maul to come out and how they describe his kit, what he will do for the game. It's definitely a very, very nice addition. Alright, so from some of the most exciting things to slightly maybe less exciting for many of us, which is they announced that Relic 9 is coming towards end of August. They didn't specify anything else about, how are we going to achieve, how much certain materials or what gear we'll have to scavenge to get it. But obviously looking at the history of Relic 8, they launched those with a new challenge tier of the Rancor raid. So does that mean that potentially we're getting a challenge tier for the AAT raid as well? And that's where we'll be getting Relic 9 materials? Possibly, we shall see. Obviously, if they do that, I would imagine at the same time they will make Sith raids seemable. Okay, and for the final character announcement there, we do have Lord Vader. Now Lord Vader will be probably similar, kind of level of just Jedi Master Kenobi. Will probably, be a hard counter as mentioned before, together with Maul to Jedi Master Kenobi. At least we hope so, because some of the best counters we have versus Jedi Master Kenobi, including Galactic Legends, some of those characters we used to counter Jedi Master Kenobi reliably will be slightly changed to make that harder. So definitely looks like Lord Vader might be our savior. Speaking of when he's hitting holotables, they did mention that he's coming early in September. Now they did announce here the first requirements group. So we have to get Hunter, Tech and Wrecker. So that's the 3 of the Bad Batch clones to Relic 5. Now some are a bit surprised, what does Bad Batch have to do with Lord Vader? Now I believe that in the last series of Clone Wars, while Anakin was still Anakin, they did briefly meet with the Bad Batch, so there was a little bit of interaction there. But who knows what the current Bad Batch TV show will bring. Maybe they will come across Darth Vader at some point in one of the episodes, so maybe that will be the connection. Tuscans, no surprise there. We all know that Tuscans played a huge part in the downfall of Anakin to the dark side when he unleashed his rage after what they did to his mother on all the Tuscans. So I'm surprised there's only one Tuscan there. I was expecting all 3 Tuscans to be needed. Same thing for Padme, no surprises there. We do have our need card Relic 8, but that's just the way it's gonna go in this game, especially with the Relic 9 at the horizon. Relic 8 requirements for all these top events will be more and more common, so just something we'll have to get accustomed to. I just hope that they will slowly open up a little bit the flow of the Relic 8 and even Relic 7 material. By the way, they didn't announce anything in terms of easing the gear or Relic crunch, so these are all just kind of wishes at the moment. And then they did kind of preview the group 3 for General Skywalker will be near Relic 8. Again, no surprises there. So on 28th of July, this first set of requirements that they showed here in the post, they will be added to the game into the journey guide. Then the second set of requirements is coming on the 11th of August, and the final third set will be announced on the 25th of August. We already know General Skywalker is in there, but the remaining characters from first set will be announced end of August, and then Vader probably coming like a week or 2 weeks after that, sometime early in September. Conquest 7. So they did say that Conquest 7 will have new bosses. It will also have new boss modifiers as well added, and some new data discs and some other changes. So if we just look at the couple of new data discs they added here, Steadfast Focus, so it'll be Capacity 2, which will make all allies immune to ability block, daze and stun for 2 turns at the start of the battle. And then another one, Opportunistic Support. Whenever an ally attacks out of turn, all allies gain 6% health. Yeah, doesn't sound too exciting to me. Then also in the video they did mention there's another disc coming as well that will add a stack of thermal detonator when you apply 5 debuffs on the target. again, yeah, not too excited about that one. So there may be more discs coming, but that's how it is. And there's also one thing that's in the video that's not in the post here. They'll be adding new consumables to make our progress through Conquest easier. Now, I've never purchased any consumables because you have to either spend crystals or currency, so it's not something I recommend you do, but we may be forced to at some point because there'll be a lot of changes to the characters, as mentioned, as we'll talk about it afterwards. So one of the consumables, for example, will give your guys stat fast retribution to your Galactic Republic allies, you know, so we'll be able to reflect damage back on the enemy, same as the enemy is able to do on us. So definitely sounds cool. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see how are we going to manage our crystals and currency once we come to that. Speaking of currency, they will change the way unequipping data discs works. Until now, we had to use our hard-earned currency, which obviously limit us because we didn't want to change them too much, because we need that currency to buy blueprints and shards for characters and ships in the Conquest store. So they will change this. For unequipping, we'll be now using the Conquest energy instead. Now, if you look at it, even if you don't spend any crystal for energy refreshing Conquest, I think if you just kind of play through for all the Conquest, I think you're about done in about 7 days without refreshing, which still leaves you then 7 days of energies worth to be equipping and unequipping discs for, you know, completing certain feats in boss battles. So definitely this seems a bit more free-to-play friendly option than using currency for unequipping data discs. So I'm very happy about this change, absolutely. Now, because of all these changes, they will need a little bit more time just to balance the Conquest and everything, because it's new bosses, as mentioned before. So there'll be a slight delay with the start of Conquest 7, because usually we'd have a 2-week break between Conquest. So maybe now we'll be looking at 3, maybe even a 4-week break before Conquest 7 starts. Now, they've done that before already. So what they will do is they will just condense a little bit the 3 conquests together. So then once Conquest 7 does start, then Conquest 8 and 9, they will launch closer together, so we will still not, you know, miss out on the amount of rewards we will get within this normal 3-month period. Now, let's move on to the probably what's the most controversial announcement, I would say, from the State of the Galaxy, and that's mass changes to a lot of characters. Now, there's kind of two groups of changes they'll be making. So first set of changes is changes to the characters that allows them to ignore defense. Now, Darth Vader himself, I don't think he can ignore defense, but obviously if you do put a Wat stack on him, then he can. They'll be also making changes to Jenna, Nightlook, and Wat. So all these 4 characters are getting changes because of the defense. And then the second set of changes is adding exclusions for many characters to also exclude Galactic Legends. Now, the way they explain the whole reasoning behind it is they really want Galactic Legends to kind of be these top tier teams that pretty much only other Galactic Legends can beat them. Like Jedi Master Kenobi and Commander Ahsoka Tano were kind of, I guess, just the warning for all of us that that's what they plan to do with the Galactic Legends onwards. There will virtually be no non-Galactic Legend counters to Galactic Legends. So that's why they're reworking all of these older characters to make sure that also the previous Galactic Legends they launched, they also, you know, will be very hard to take down without a Galactic Legend. Now, there are probably multiple ways you can look at these changes. Depends on, obviously, you know, where you stand in the game, what your aspirations in this game are. Obviously, from one point of view, this will make it almost impossible for people that do not have a Galactic Legend to win Territory Wars, to win Grand Arena Championship, to compete in Squad Arena versus players that do have a Galactic Legend. So this will definitely, you know, affect probably many of you, especially early in the game when you do not have Galactic Legends, but you're competing against, you know, people that are probably spending money and they already have a Galactic Legend. Will definitely create some sort of a divide between that. Then if you look at it from either, you know, somebody that spent money to get Galactic Legend quickly, or somebody that's been managing and hoarding their resources a lot just to focus to get that Galactic Legend unlocked, just for somebody to cheese your way through for a Galactic Legend, that might be a little bit frustrating for you. So in that case, if you know, from that point of view, that may be a welcome change for you, because you know, all your hard hoarded resources, all of your spent money will at least give you some sort of advantage over the people that didn't. Not sure, obviously they're saying this will ensure the health of the future game. Again, that's up for discussion. Is this healthy or not? Is this the right way of approaching? But definitely I understand where they're coming from in terms of designing kits for all these characters, because as you've seen, especially with Galactic Legend, they have so many different clauses just to make sure General Skywalker can't beat them, just to make sure that Darth Revan can't beat them, and it's becoming very, very hard for them, you know, to actually create very flexible kits without, you know, destroying the balance too much. And also they say in terms of removing defense penetration, they have a plan to make defense a bit more important buff, a bit more important stat in the game. Now personally, I've been affected from both sides of the story. So because initially I didn't have any Galactic Legend, and whenever I fight somebody that had Galactic Legend, obviously I relied on those counters to take down Galactic Legend. So from that point of view, you know, if you will be in that situation, you will obviously not be happy about this change. But I have also been on the other side as well, where, you know, I finally unlocked Supreme in the Kylo Ren, and I nearly lost in Grand Arena versus a General Skywalker team. I used Jedi Master Luke in Grand Arena with Jedi as well, and I lost versus General Skywalker team as well once, because I didn't put all the best Jedi around Jedi Master Luke. I'm like, well, I've got Jedi Master Luke, let's just put some Jedi around him. Surely, you know, he's a Galactic Legend, he can take down General Skywalker, and he wasn't able to. So, you know, I was on the both ends of the spectrum here, whereas I felt like, well, the Galactic Legend I put all my resources in and I locked is getting beat down by General Skywalker. But I've been also on the other side where, you know, if I can't counter Galactic Legend without a Galactic Legend, this game basically becomes impossible to be competitive in, especially in Squad Arena, because that's the main income of crystals. So unless they kind of alleviate sort of, you know, gear crunch, relic crunch for those that don't have Galactic Legend yet, just make some sort of way to make unlocking Galactic Legends easier, I think this may really have a negative impact on the health of the game from, you know, community's point of view, because a lot of players will just feel like they don't even stand a chance. But obviously we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. If that's what the data will show, that the games will start going down, I'm sure they will introduce some changes, you know, to revert the trend, because at the end of the day it seems like they're very data and analytics driven company, that they make decisions based off that. So we'll have to wait and see, because even we take Jedi Master Kenobi for example, from what I've seen, the most reliable counter is Jedi Master Luke with General Skywalker, Jedi Knight Luke, Revan, and maybe Yoda or a Wat or somebody like that. But they'll be nerfing both Jedi Knight Luke and General Skywalker. So will you still be able to beat Jedi Master Kenobi with Jedi Master Luke? I don't know. Then, you know, we have all these cheese teams with Supreme the Kylo Ren, Sith Eternal, and again the looking interaction between Commander Ahsoka Tano and those cheese teams. So it seems like, will even the old Galactic Legends still be able to compete with the new Galactic Legends? That's yet to be seen. So, you know, a lot of unanswered questions here. But anyway, without all of these kind of overview and some thoughts, let's just hop into game now, and let me just talk you through that you exactly know what the changes are for each of the characters, so that you can kind of put your own thoughts together and plan what you want to do here going forward. So let's first kick off with the defense changes here. So I just kind of preloaded here characters for you. So Darth Vader first. They will be making probably the most changes here to Vader and General Skywalker. So let's just start with the basic from Vader. So what they will do, they will increase the damage multiplier for his basic by 20%. Now if you don't know what the multiplier is, so if you go over to SWGOH and then for example let's click on the basic here, and here you can view the mechanics for every ability. So if you click on the mechanics, let's go all the way to the bottom. Now I'm assuming the multiplier refers to this. So the moment the multiplier damage for basic on Vader is 270%. So this essentially will multiply the damage, whatever your damage is on your Vader, by 270%. Now they will increase this by 20. So basic should be doing more damage then, because the damage will be multiplied by 290%. So a little bit of a damage boost there. And another one great addition is for his basic is that At the moment he has 80% chance to ability block, but this will be increased to 100% chance against Jedi and Rebels. And again, Jedi and Rebels, they cannot evade or resist this attack. So this will actually improve Vader when countering Jedi and Rebels. For example, when going up against Jedi Knight Luke, Jedi, you know, you're kind of going around applying ability blocks, hoping you ability block everybody so nobody can use Heroes Arise. In this case, you will ability block everybody 100% of the time, which will make Vader more reliable there when you're countering Jedi and Rebel. The next change to Vader here is on his Calling Blade. Now, so for the Calling Blade, they will reduce the multiplier by 40%. So again, as I've shown you before in SWGOH, you can go ahead, check the mechanics, how much is there, but essentially the base damage for Calling Blade will be reduced, so he will be doing less damage on his Calling Blade. This is probably just to prevent him from, you know, one-shotting some Galactic Legends or things like that out of the gate, which is slightly unfortunate. However, it looks like they do still want to keep or even increase his raid viability, because against raid bosses he will actually do 100% more damage for each debuff instead of 50% as it's now. But this is only versus raid bosses. You will get plus 25% critical chance on Calling Blade, which I believe is huge, because if you ever tried one of the counters I've shown where you use Vader without like Wat or Piet versus General Grievous squads with Newt, his Calling Blade, if it crits, you can one-shot their General Grievous. However, if you don't crit, and as we know, you've got on General Grievous teams, they have high critical avoidance, so it's very hard to land critical hit with Calling Blade on them. So having plus 25% critical chance on these will be huge. So even though the actual damage of Calling Blade is getting nerfed, by adding critical chance, you're potentially doing more damage in the end. And finally, Merciless Massacre, the change to Merciless Massacre there, there'll be again increasing critical chance. At the moment we get plus 25%, so he'll be getting plus 50%. So in some cases, you know, maybe he will actually be more effective than the other, but versus Galactic Legend, he won't be nearly as effective anymore as he used to be. Now, General Skywalker is probably the second best character after Vader to counter Galactic Legends, and again, they're making two sets of changes. One is about defense penetration, so we look at this one first. So his basic ignores defense, that's why it does some big hits. So what I will do, they will remove this clause, and they will just say instead of ignoring defense, it will have 65% defense penetration. So it'll still penetrate some defense, but it will not entirely ignore it. However, if all your 501st allies, this will be tripled. So what they're basically saying, General Skywalker's place is in a 501st squad. That's what he was designed for. They will also adjust his leadership. So what they will do is that at the moment when he's in cover, he's only getting 10% protection whenever one of his 501st allies take a turn, which means, like, you know, that before General Skywalker stands up from cover, your guys need to take 10 turns before he reaches 100% protection, and then he will stand up, which gives, you know, teams like CLS, for example, enough time to take out your clones and their 5v1 versus General Skywalker. With this change, he will get up, you know, twice as fast from the cover, so he will be harder to counter with somebody like CLS or maybe even Darth Revan. So there's definitely a change there, but in case you do manage to actually take out clones before he gets to 100% protection, when he does gets up, when all of his allies will be defeated, he will again get 100% protection. Jedi Knight Luke as well, he gets a little bit of changes there. His basic attack there, Prevailing Strike, what they will do, they will actually boost his basic, that it, on top of, you know, the damage it does, it will also deal true damage, but only to tanks. However, the biggest change comes to his Stalwart Advance, because on this ability, the Jedi's Will description there, actually, the ability itself will still be the same, but the Jedi's Will description there will change. At the moment, we're getting 100 chance, getting 25% offense, but most importantly, these attacks ignore defense, and that's what makes Jedi Knight Luke so effective countering Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Now, to slightly offset that, they will bump up the offense you gain from Jedi's Will to 50%, and as well they will add plus 25% tenacity there on Jedi Wheel. You know, again, that extra offense probably will help versus other characters, but versus Galactic Legends, I think, you know, you will see a significant drop in damage. However, they will add some armor penetration, extra armor penetration to the base stats of Jedi Luke Skywalker. So just slight rebalance because we are losing the ignoring defense with Jedi Wheel. Up next, this one probably hurts as well a lot because we are not getting any boost in return like any other changes we've covered so far. They're getting something else to offset the nerf, to at least make them still viable against other teams, that they don't lose viability overall in the game, they don't lose their place and their intention the way they were designed, except versus Galactic Legends. However, here we go with Wat. Let's scroll down. Weapon mod there, weapon tech from Wat. The most, yeah, sure, turn meter gain is nice, yeah, no revive is nice, but the key here is that you ignore defense, and that's what allowed Darth Vader to one-shot Rey. But it's not just from Galactic Rey, like you're just looking, okay, well, Vader won't be able to do that anymore, but you know, this was very effective, like even against other teams. You could just literally put, I don't know, First Order there with First Order Executioner, put weapon tech on him and he was doing massive hits. You could use him with Wampa doing massive hits. I've even used it with other characters before, like Yoda or somebody, Grandmaster Yoda, to boost his offense. So definitely this will hurt a lot of the, you know, those kind of second grade counters we use, because, you know, you won't be able to gain defense, you won't be able to ignore defense with weapon tech anymore. So definitely a lot of counters also to non-Galactic Legends will be affected by this change, and unlike other nerfs there is no offset to lose this. At least they could say, well then, instead of ignoring defense you get plus 50% offense or even 25% offense, just give us something in return. So definitely this nerf will hurt a lot because we're getting nothing back in return. So these are the defense changes that they will be making. Love them or hate them, probably majority of us are not big fans of this, especially, you know, because not only we will probably most likely not be able to counter Galactic Legends anymore the way we used to, it also affects any other counters we have to other non-Galactic Legend teams. We'll have to wait and see, we'll have to do testing when that comes around. Now let's go over the next set of changes, and this is characters that at the moment certain abilities can't be applied to raid bosses. They will also add that for Galactic Legends. For example, Bastila here, her first Force Bond. Essentially, if you put Corrupted Metal Meditation on any unit, they can't apply debuffs on you, excluding raid bosses. This will also then exclude Galactic Legends. So for example, if you would get Battle Meditation over on somebody like Jedi Master Luke, he won't be able to put like Breach on you or Daze you and things like that, or any other Galactic Legend that applies debuffs as well. Corrupted Battle Meditation could have prevented that. It will no longer be able to do that once this update hits. Up next, also Malak here. So he's unique, essentially prevents Sith from gaining bonus turn meter. So this may be useful where if you're going up against Sith Eternal Emperor, or assuming that Lord Vader will have a Sith tag as well, you know, you could potentially stop them from gaining bonus turn meter. This will no longer be the case with Malak once the update hits. Up next, General Grievous. There you go, his special attack there. If the target was debuffed, it would reduce their max health by 10%. This excludes raid bosses. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but General Grievous can counter some Sith Eternal teams and Jedi Master Luke teams. So definitely they're looking at, wow, we are definitely nerfing this, so you won't be able to reduce their max health anymore going forward, so they will be much harder to take down. Then John Skywalker, he already received some defense penetration nerfs, but there is one more coming, and that is from his unique. So whenever Skywalker critically hits an enemy, he will increase their cooldowns by 1. Obviously that does not apply to raid bosses, and in the future this will not apply to Galactic Legends as well. And then also, yeah, you can also reduce max health by 20% when they don't have protection, excluding raid bosses. This will also exclude the Galactic Legends. Again, you will not be able to reduce their max health. So if you want to further making sure that General Skywalker will not be able to help you beat Galactic Legends going forward. And probably this one, from all the changes for these exclusions, will hurt us absolutely the most. Obviously what will hurt us, but this one the most. Fracture. As we know, Fracture puts any unit on timeout. They can't take a turn as long as they're fractured, except versus raid bosses. So what Fracture does to raid bosses is they get minus 50% speed and minus 30% counter chance. So this will also apply soon to Galactic Legends. So all the counters where you fracture Rey, you go about your business while Rey's fractured. Nope. Because even if you reduce speed on Rey, you have Rey, if she's modded for speed plus her leadership, she'll be close to 600 speed, so even with fracture her speed will be 300. So she will still quickly get another turn regardless. Or even versus Supreme Leader Kylo Ren as well, it includes Throne counters versus Sith Eternal or Master Luke, whichever Galactic Legend we had until now. Thrawn was a key piece to the counters together with Wat and Vader, Darth Revan team as well. So this one I think absolutely will hurt us the most when it comes to countering Galactic Legends. Jedi Knight Luke. His repulse ability, when you use this you will inflict stun and vulnerable for 2 turns, and as well they will lose 10% health and protection, maximum 50 stacking. But a repulse on raid bosses, and this will apply to Galactic Legends as well, you will deal 3 times the damage and still apply vulnerable as well. So you're only losing, we're not really losing stun, because you couldn't stun them anyway. The only thing we are losing here is the reduction of health and protection, and in return you will deal damage, physical damage 3 times to them. Now I'm not sure what kind of damage you will do against somebody like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren or Jedi Master Luke or anybody else really. Moff Gideon, know your adversaries. So at the moment you basically cannot apply Demoralized on raid bosses, and that will soon apply to Galactic Legends. Now my Gideon is not good enough to counter Galactic Legends, but many of you out there with a Relic Gideon, you maybe have used him to reduce offense by 50%, or somebody like Rey, so her ultimate did barely any damage on your team and like that. So this will definitely affect those people that have used Gideon to counter Galactic Legends. And then finally 3PO, the confusion, so the detriment there. So for one, cannot gain buffs. This applies both to raid bosses and Galactic Legends. However, then the level 2 and 3 will slightly change. So these are the changes when it comes to certain exclusions that already exist for raid bosses. This will now apply to Galactic Legends as well, making it further harder to take out Galactic Legends, even if you do have a Galactic Legend, because even now for those of us that don't have Master Kenobi yet, we are relying on Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker and General Skywalker and Wat in some cases to take down Jedi Master Kenobi. So I'm not even sure if I will still be able to be competitive in arena even with that. We'll have to wait and see, but not looking too good at the moment, even for us that have old Galactic Legends. Speaking of old Galactic Legends, they will be making changes, some small tweaks to Rey as well as Sith Eternal Emperor. So let me just talk you through this quickly. Now Rey's Sudden Whirlwind, at the moment it does 3-time massive damage. Now after the change it will do only 2-time massive damage. So instead of doing 300k hit on Sudden Whirlwind, you will be only doing 200k hit. However, to offset that loss of massive damage multiplier, they will add 7% more damage per relic amplifier level. So if your Rey, for example like mine is at relic 7, will do twice the massive damage. 7 times 7% is 49, so that's about 50% boost in damage. So at relic 7, Rey will again be doing 300k on her whirlwind, looks like, same as she did before. However, obviously once you get to relic 8, to relic 9, relic 10, 11, 12, for the future, this will then start increasing the damage on her whirlwind. So definitely for long term, this change is welcome. However, if your Rey's gear 11, gear 12, you didn't get her to relic yet, or she's lower relic, this will be the nerf for your sudden whirlwind, which obviously from that case is not a welcome change. Up next, Sith Eternal, they'll just be adding one little tiny detail there, and that is to his leadership. What they will add is that whenever an enemy gains a buff that can't be dispelled, then all Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. This is probably most likely to stop Imperial troopers from taking out Sith Eternal teams, because every time they use an ability with Piet in there, all 5 troopers will be gaining a stack of Emperor's Trap, which means 5 units gain a buff, which means 25% turn meter for your Sith allies. So what this will allow you is to stop their turn meter train at some point. Okay, I know there was a lot of changes to take in. So just to summarize, yeah, countering Galactic Legends will become very, very hard if you do not have a Galactic Legend. Whether that's good or bad for the health of the game, it probably depends on where you stand. There are different points of views, you know, depend where you are in the game, what's your aspiration. Do you just play for fun? Do you want to be competitive? Are you free to play? Are you spending? So obviously everybody will have their own view on this. I try to portray like all kinds of views that I could imagine, and you know, for somebody something is good, for somebody something is bad. No matter what kind of changes they will make, definitely will not please everybody. But you know, some sort of change, the way they explained, it does make sense, because designing new characters, especially Galactic Legends, has become very, very hard to make sure that, you know, you can't just cheese them with something else anymore. So you know, these changes definitely, while you know, probably are not what we wanted, I do understand the reasoning why they're trying to do. However, you know, is this the best solution or not? Well, I guess the time will tell for the long-term health of the game how things will go. But I'm sure if the health of the game will start dropping, they will introduce some changes to improve health of the game again, because obviously it is in their best interest to keep this game going, because it's making them a lot of money. It's essentially the only Star Wars game probably that's making a lot of money these days, so it's definitely something they will want to keep alive. So I wouldn't worry about game dying off just yet. Now, after all these nerfs and changes coming, let's try and finish on a high note. So what they will do is they will choose certain members of the community and pit them against Star Wars Galaxy of Hero developers in a speed grand arena event, whatever this means, speed. They did mention something just to see, you know, who can the quickest win, or whose defense will hold the longest. So maybe it will be some sort of time restricted thing, or it's not going to be about who scores the most points, but who completes the fastest. I'm not sure what they will do. They will release more details of when and where and how this will happen, how this will work. But it's definitely, you know, a nice positive step just to get some of the community engaged with developers. And also maybe this is just kind of like a beta test. Is there a real interest in like a bespoke Grand Arena tournaments? If not, so if this will be a success, maybe they'll be doing more kind of things in the future. Well, maybe it will even allow us players ourselves to organize our own events, private Grand Arena events or not. We shall see. Again, guys, this has been a very long video, so appreciate if you watched through it. There was just a lot of things to digest, a lot of things to go through, probably more than what you signed up for when you started watching these videos. If you watched most of it, I don't expect anyone to sit through an hour-long video, but you have. You, my friend, are a champ. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.